President of the Hyde Park Chamber of Commerce. Today we have a joint chamber breakfast with Hyde Park, Rhinebeck, and Red Hook. Welcome, everyone. And thank you, Colleen and Kimberly. Thanks for making this all happen. Everyone, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge of allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everyone, please remain standing. Pastor Greg.
Let us be in an attitude of prayer. Most holy and gracious God, we thank you for bringing us together this morning. We thank you for these three towns, for the economic vitality of this area. And we thank you for all of the people in this room that so eagerly steward these resources. We just pray that your presence will be with us this morning, guiding all of our discussions, blessing Hyde Park, Rhinebeck, and Red Hook, and all of our endeavors. All of this we ask in your name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. I'd like to acknowledge a few people in attendance today. Our executive, Dutchess County Executive Marcus Molinaro, Senator Sue Serino, Assemblywoman Dee Barrett, Dutchess County Regional Chamber of Commerce President Frank Costello, Mary Kay Berber, Director of Dutchess County Tourism, Executive Director of Walkway Over the Hudson, Andy Imperati, Dutchess County Fairgrounds. Andy, stand up, please, Andy. Brad Kendall, County Clerk. Dr. Greer Rhinebeck, Hyde Park School Superintendent. Legislator Rich Perkins. And thank you everyone for coming. A big thank you to our sponsors, Sean Shaughnessy of Paget Business. Sean? Where's Sean? There he is. And Wells Fargo of Rhinebeck. Thank you very much for being sponsors. A few dates to keep in mind for the Hyde Park Chamber of Commerce. Friday, June 26th at 4:30 at Shelley's Deli across from St. Peter's Church. We have a ribbon cutting. Also, our Chamber Car Show is July 19th. It will be held across from the old Stop and Shop, at the old Stop and Shop in Rhinebeck. If you have an old car or tuner or motorcycle you'd like to show off, we welcome you to it. Also, if you are some kind of a craft vendor, there's plenty of room still. Please call the Chamber office for information. Also, look at our website, hydeparkchamber.org, for more info on that. Also, every Saturday we have our Hyde Park Farmers Market across from the Hyde Park Town Hall. Please enjoy Hyde Park and come support our local farmers. Our next breakfast is July 23rd at the Everready Diner at 7:30 a.m. And our guest speaker will be Thomas Mulroy, CEO of T-Rex Capital. And if anyone doesn't know, T-Rex Capital are going to be developing the property across from the Culinary Institute of America, so it should be pretty good information on that. Also, our next business after hours sounds a little strange, but will be on July 28th, and it's going to be held at the Roundout Bank. They promised that they'd have a safe open for us. And food and beverage will be provided by Liquor Round with Wine and Liquor, as well as cranberries at Tilly Hall. And you can pretty much figure who's going to be providing the beverages and who's going to be providing the food on that. Next, I'd like to introduce our county executive to the podium, Marcus Molinaro.
Good morning, everyone. I thought the microphone was on. I could be wrong. I want to thank you and certainly thank the three chambers of commerce for coming together. It's always nice when you do this jointly. I feel like I have been to every Hyde Park Chamber of Commerce breakfast for the last, at least the last 6 months. I'm not quite sure how that's happened. Actually, I do. John texts me and says, I have a free breakfast for you. As I was joking earlier, the saying in Dutchess is, if two or more are gathered together, I shall be among you. But I wanted to be here this morning for a number of reasons, not the least of which being that as a resident of Northern Dutchess County and having served 22 years in elected office in Northern Dutchess, really serving Northern Dutchess in one capacity or another, having all of you come together to discuss and really learn more about the one industry in our region that has seen significant growth over the last 30 years, and most significantly over the last decade. Tourism and its partnership, and certainly the role of Walkway over the Hudson in what has become a very diverse, very aggressive, very robust tourism industry. I get sometimes criticized, and we're headed towards that time of year where people like me get criticized more often. I get criticized sometimes for talking about tourism as if it is the only industry that we're focused on, and the truth of the matter is that's not the case. We have a very aggressive strategy for economic development. But at the core of Dutchess County's economic recovery is branding our community. And tourism is the mechanism that we use to brand Dutchess County. And no one and no organization does it better in New York State than Dutchess Tourism Incorporated. Now, I can say that because I have traveled the state of New York, and those other regions throughout the state, even New York City, often turn to Mary Kay Verba and her team for direction, for guidance, for advice, for counsel. They often look to us for the work that we've done. There are counties in this region, I wouldn't mention Ulster, that pretty much have taken what we have done, repackaged it for their purposes to grow their tourism industry. And there are other communities across the state that have learned from Dutchess Tourism really how to best promote their region. And why is that important? Well, for us, whether it's a visitor from Pennsylvania or New York City trying to find their way to Dutchess County, we need to make sure that we explain and sell and promote our assets. But tourism is also about promoting to one another within Dutchess County those great assets that we have. And tourism could very well be a visitor from Fishkill finding their way to Rhinebeck. But tourism for us and the branding of Dutchess County is also about promoting the community for existing and future employers. You have to feel good about the place you live. You have to feel good about the place you wish to employ people. You have to feel good about relocating your business to a community. And in a state like New York, where we are, without question, among the least business-friendly states in America, we have to lean on and promote our strengths and our assets. And what Dutchess County's tourism effort has been about over the last 4 years has been about emboldening, if you will, the brand of Dutchess. And now, having worked with Mary Kay Verba and Dutchess Tourism directly for 3.5 years, I can tell you that I have traveled both this country and outside of the country with Dutchess Tourism, and we have just the right sales pitch for just about any tourist anywhere. And I know that you would think that anybody could say that. But the truth is that whether it was in Los Angeles or London, standing among tour operators, businesses seeking to relocate, events seeking, I'm taking all of our talking points, seeking to direct tourists who may be coming up for a day trip outside New York City or finding a few nights in the Hudson Valley, we have just the right sale, just the right asset for just about anything. Historic sites, farmland, arts and entertainment, athletics. You can go historic village and city centers, amazing resources like the walkway over the Hudson, or restaurants and culinary opportunities. She's got nothing to say. Yeah. Mary Kay gets into detail. I just kind of hover above it. Every one of those areas of interest is an opportunity for us to promote Dutchess County. So I will end by telling you that when I came into office, our goal was to strengthen our tourism promotion efforts. We have doubled, more than doubled, the funding for tourism promotion in the county. The tourism budget now exceeds $1 million. That is both an increase in county funding, some $300,000+ an increase in county funding, and an increase in private sector funding through directing aid from the Industrial Development Agency, all in an effort to brand Dutchess County as a destination for both tourists and prospective businesses to locate, to visit, and to spend money here. Why is that important? Because today tourism represents a $500 million industry. When you include agriculture, it's nearly 10,000 jobs, and that benefit, that impact, helps every business, every community, and every citizen of Dutchess County. And it is a part of our effort to grow Dutchess County's economy. And we are starting to see the underpinnings of economic recovery. I don't need to tell you how difficult it is. I don't need to explain to you what the struggle is. But I offer that to you to say that we recognize that there are still people struggling to get jobs. There are still businesses struggling to make payroll. There are still people struggling to pay their mortgage. But the way that you bring about recovery and the way that you bring about success is to promote those strengths, those opportunities you have, to make sure people feel good about the place they live, and that we put on the best first step, if you will, or the best face that we can to a community that has a great deal to offer both residents and visitors alike. So with that, I want to present to you someone who is by far a leader in the tourism industry in the United States, has been, without question, one of the go-to leaders in tourism in New York State, and she has been a tremendous resource for all of us throughout Dutchess County, Mary Kay Verba.
Thank you very much, Mark. Thank you very much. No, you can tell why we like to take him on the road, because it really makes an impression on tour operators and foreign industry when your county executive is there to meet and greet the planners who you're trying to sell to the area. And so it's really a pleasure when we can get Mark to come with us on a trip, and it's well worth the investment, because whenever a group tour bus pulls into the area and stays overnight, that one tour bus has over a $15,000 impact on the economy just for that one evening. And that's money that, you may sit there and say, well, I'm really in the insurance business, or I'm in the real estate business, so how does that help me? Well, those 10,000 people that Mark talked about that are employed in this community buy insurance, they buy houses, they spend their money in local restaurants, they buy landscaping materials, they buy cars. So you are part of this industry in this community. And tourism really embraces each and every one of you in some aspect. And in that aspect as well, today I really christen you as all ambassadors in tourism, because we can go out and we can travel to China and we can travel to London and we can do all this stuff. We can promote in New York and we can have TV ads. But if people come here and don't have a great experience, if they aren't greeted on the streets, if they aren't helped being given directions on where they need to go, instead of being honked at, If our bicyclists are being run off the road, they're not going to have a good experience, and they're going to go home and tell everybody that. But when they come and they go to our attractions and our historic sites, and they walk into our businesses and they get that tank of gas somewhere, and they're greeted and they are received well, and they get a sense of place, then they're going to come back again and again. And that's pretty much what our visitor profile study shows us. That pretty much on probably 60% of people that are coming to this area are coming 6 times or more. So that says something. Our first-time visitors up about 30%, and we would like to really raise that a little bit because, when you come the first time into some place, you're apt to spend more money. You're apt to take money out of your pocket. When you're coming back the 5th or 6th time, maybe not so much. So we'd like to see more of those first-time visitors. So what that does is, recently too, with all this attention and this brand building, we've got some accolades, both in the Hudson Valley and in Dutchess County. So Fedor's go-to list in 2015 named the Hudson Valley and the Catskills as one of the top 25 destinations. Beacon was awarded the best places to vacation in Conti Nash Traveler. In 2014, the Wine Enthusiast magazine actually promoted the host state as a wine destination. And in 2015, the National Tour Association's Courier magazine awarded Dutchess Tourism its Distinguished Gold Medal Award as a favorite culinary destination. And I think what's notable here is the silver went to New Orleans and the bronze went to Mexico. So a hand to our farmers, our restaurateurs, and all those folks that make this a great culinary destination. We also have done, in building that brand, we've done some web advertising and some TV coverage. I don't know if folks have seen some of our TV promotions really targeted towards the New York, Northern New Jersey market, but some of the ads have been making their way up on channels up through here. And we have done some local advertising this year with Mark and the increased budget that we've gotten. We've been able to also hit on the Tri-County area with Ulster and Orange and Dutchess. So this is just a sample of some of our TV coverage that we've gotten. And what does this all result in? Well, economic impact in 2013, Mark said he likes to round up numbers, so do I, but according to New York State, $481 million was generated. That was up from $475 in 2012. We're waiting for 14 numbers now. New York State lags a little bit, but we think that number is going to go up to just about 490. So we're reaching that. But local sales tax, $34 million generated by tourists, and local sales tax, $28 million to the state. That's going to go up because our bed tax, I know, is up this year, and we're having a very good year this year. Talking with some of our hoteliers, they're seeing 80, 90, 95% occupancy, which is a great thing to report. Visitor expenditure, $132 million on transportation. People have to get here. We're a car destination, but we also have a lot of folks coming up by the train. $111 million on food. That everybody wants to eat when they travel, and I think within Todd Erling from Hudson Valley Economic Agribusiness says, I think within a 4-hour ride from just about any place in the Hudson Valley, there's over 66 million mouths to feed. So that's a lot of people to come to our restaurants, lodging, shopping, and recreation. So that has a big impact. Now, what's not really part of this is also, if anybody picked up the Poughkeepsie Journal this morning on the front page, they saw that there's been a film in town, and that's not the only film. Film is a big industry. We work very closely through Mark's involvement in the IDA with helping to fund the Hudson Valley Film Commission. And in 2014, overall, in a 7-county area, there were over 6,000 room nights just from filming. There was a $4.5 million direct spend from the film industry. There was 370 production days, 250 scouting days, 180 locations used, and over 300 part-time jobs. And that's the film industry in addition to this. We take a lot of time. It's something that we've gotten into in the last 2 to 3 years to really work with the film industry. And I know sometimes people say, well, what about the tax credits? but this is bringing money into the area. This is bringing jobs into the area. I had the opportunity to go down to the filming location last week while they were filming part of the film, and I talked to a couple of young people that were there, and they were both college students. One was from Rhinebeck, one was from Poughkeepsie. They had about 6 weeks that they needed something to do, and here they were able to come on, get a film job, be a PA, production assistant, which is a nice name for a gopher. And it was really nice to be down on the site and have somebody come and hold an umbrella over you. I mean, I felt kind of important that they did that. But here was a part-time job for them, $100 a day for them. That was pretty good for the 6 weeks. That got them through their rent. That got them through that gap. But the most important thing is they were both in the theater and film area in their studies. And so this gave them actual experience, which is part of this as well. So, just out of that one film alone, Dutchess County got over 300 room nights. They used 3 different caterers because they were here for 6 weeks. They wanted to mix up the food a little bit. It was pretty good. I was down there at lunchtime. It's always nice to do that. Make sure that you time yourself right. But this is big industry, so there's a lot of things going on, and as Mark said, we are diverse. There's a lot of things here that are very distinctive to Dutchess County that aren't anywhere else. We do share the walkway with Ulster, I'll take that. But we have, the FDR home. That's the only place you're going to come and see a home for a 4th-time elected president. We have the cottage for Eleanor Roosevelt. Nowhere else in the world is there a home dedicated to a First Lady. The old Rhinebeck Aerodrome, Dia Beacon, Bard College. We have world-class destinations that people want to come to. We have the boutique stores, and we have the small communities. About 3 weeks, maybe I lose time, Dawn. How long ago the Australians were in?
Oh, they were about 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago. I love New York, just opened an office in Australia. We had the team here. They came and they loved the area. They don't have small boutique shops. And so, shopping in Rhinebeck, they loved it. They also love good coffee. So if we get this market here, make sure you folks serve good coffee. They love their history. They don't consider themselves a historic area. So there are markets out there that, I think are just going to help us evolve, and we've just got the world-class destinations here to bring them. And we're this gateway to New York State. People come up through here. We've been talking to them about, we've got this wonderful train. You don't have to rent a car in New York City. Come here, bring the train up, rent your car here, stay a couple of days, tour the rest of the state, and then bring your car back and go back out to the city. And a lot of our foreign visitors love that idea. They hadn't thought about it, they didn't know about it. They think I love New York, they think the city, and we've got so much more to offer, and we're working very hard. And in doing that, one of the other things we work with, of course, is our many partners in the room with special events, and Elizabeth's going to touch a little bit on the wonderful walkway event with the marathon that we just finished. But this Sunday, too, please be aware on the roads that we have Bike New York coming up with the Hudson Valley Bike Ride. There will be about 2,000 cyclists going anywhere from 20 miles to 100 miles throughout the area. There will be a big gathering down at Warriors Park in Poughkeepsie, and those folks will be staying overnight. Also, if you're looking for something to do on July 25th, I would challenge each of the chambers here to come up with a dragon boat team, and we'll have a little spin-off here on a little competition to see who could do this. But we're looking for some more teams on July 25th for our dragon boat races down on the Hudson River, along with a big Asian festival all day long. We also have our Farm Fresh tours that will also feature the Rhinebeck and Red Hook area. And over the last 7 years, we've brought up over 7,000 people on Metro North who come in for 6 weeks in the fall, on the weekends, bring the train up, and they go to our farms, they go to our wineries, they go to our distilleries, and they have a great time, and they come back again and again. Also coming up, on July 14th, I'd invite you all to come and celebrate our first anniversary with us, and you might say first anniversary, you've been around a long time. Well, just this past year, we've become our own independent organization, Duchess Tourism, Inc. So we'll be having a celebration at the CIA. If you haven't registered yet, please do that. It's going to be a great evening, and some good tourism awards are going to be given out to folks who really deserve them. And then mark February, because we're going to be looking for about 1,000 volunteers, because we are hosting the New York State Special Winter Olympics. And so this will be bringing in about 600 to 700 Special Olympians into our county. We want to show them a good time. This is a 2-year commitment for us. And so we want to have the volunteers that we need to have them come back. And we're going to be out there calling on the chambers to help us out, because the opening ceremonies and closing ceremonies will take place at the Civic Center. And the events for cross-country and snowshoeing will be at Bowdoin Park. The ice skating will be at the Civic Center. The floor hockey is going to be across at Stewart Airport. And downhill skiing will take place in Sullivan County. But those are a couple of things that are coming up. It's a little bit, I just recently talked to the Rhinebeck Chamber and other chambers, so I maybe kind of wanted to bring you up to date on what we're doing. We have our new travel guide out, our numbers are up, and overall, we couldn't do this without a great team. I get to stand up here today. Dawn Hopper from my team is here. Yes, you can put your hands together. She just got back from being on the road for 2 weeks. Everybody thinks, oh, it's glamorous, you get to go out. But let me tell you, when you're going 12 to 14 hours a day, selling the area, and she went from Oklahoma City over to Switzerland, Germany, and London. So that's not an easy trip, but we're out there working for you and working with you, and I thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mary Kay. Next, we have Elizabeth Hart, from Director of Walkway over the Hudson. Let's talk about it.
I don't know what to say after that introduction, Don. Oh my gosh.
It took me a long time to write that.
So when I moved to this area 15 years ago from Connecticut, not originally, but from Connecticut, drove over the Hudson Valley, looked at this area and thought, oh my gosh, this is beautiful. I had a background in international work, lived in other countries around the world, and thought, this is gorgeous. This is the Rhine. This is the Seine. This is beautiful. And was a little underwhelmed, about some of the services, but quickly got to know people in this room who've been working hard, the Chamber of Commerce and different businesses and different politicians, really trying to develop this asset into the world-class destination that it really is. So I love working with Mary Kay, worked with the Hyde Park school system, and worked with Greenway and the town of Hyde Park and the National Park Service for a number of years, just trying to develop, help to do what I could to develop the area. So I landed at the Walkway shortly after it opened in 2009, and there was a really interesting project given to me, or an assignment or a challenge. Now that it's open, it's a 1.28-mile ribbon of concrete across this beautiful Hudson River, joining two disparate but beautiful counties. What are you going to do with this now? So I like to talk about it as a venue or an asset or a thing. What will we do? Our organization had been around since 1992, a nonprofit. Most of you knew about it. Hopefully you were up on the bridge with Fred Schaefer, one of those 5,000 people that thought this is crazy, but maybe we can do it. And when the Dyson Foundation and state and federal funding were all brought together in a strong partnership, the Walkway opened. So the organization had been about build a bridge, build a bridge, build a bridge. So the bridge is built. It's a pedestrian walkway. It's the highest, longest elevated pedestrian walkway in the world, and much to our surprise, 500,000 people came the first year, and there's continued to have been 500,000 people. So now what do we do with that? What happens? Well, one is we need to finish it. So our organization is charged at any given moment. We have about $5 million worth of projects that need to be done on the walkway. You come to the east approach, or you come to the west approach side, and you're pretty much greeted with the parking lot and porta potties. So when you're off around the world at some of these world-class destinations, you do not want to be greeted with, with bathrooms. I mean, necessary as they are, and happy that they're there. So we need running water. We need a formal building on each side of the walkway to greet people. We need better parking, and we need better directions and wayfinding, and a lot of the things that we take for granted, but we learn from our visitors. Like Mary Kay said, people come, but their experience that they have here is really important. So I just want to touch, I'll go quickly on how we're trying to accomplish that at the walkway, and just give you an update. We also are concerned about economic growth. I'm very fortunate that even before the walkway opened, we were able to do an economic impact study. We knew that showing the economic impact of the walkway was important. Frankly, it helps justify the considerable amount of state and federal funding that went into the project. There were people who said, well, is this worth it? Why are we spending all this? And it is worth it. It brings lots of people. It gives them an experience, and it's our job, your job as citizens, as business owners, to make sure that, as Mary Kay said, that experience translates into more dollars and more spending. So I don't need to go over the figures again. Mary Kay and Mark took all those. But what we do is participate in the regional planning and revitalization. So there's a lot going on around this part of Dutchess County, this part of the Hudson Valley, whether it's through the Hudson Valley Economic Development Council or the Regional Council, where we now have to apply for our funding for state funds, the waterfront revitalization plans in Poughkeepsie, the Greenway, the plan to someday join, Rhinebeck to down to Joe Benura's, so that we have this long, expansive trail connection that will result in more economic development. It will take a while. It will take public and private partners working together to try and reach the goal, but we will make progress, and we have made progress. What else are we doing? We are, partnerships are key. I don't know if Frankie's still here. The Chamber of Commerce, Dutchess County Chamber of Commerce and Ulster Chamber of Commerce are strong partners of ours. They have been from the start. The walkway, you probably know this, but once the walkway opened on October in 2009, the ownership of the walkway was transferred to the New York State Parks. It is a New York State Parks. We have one of the best park systems in the country. I didn't realize how many acres of parks, how many beautiful facilities there are everywhere from New York City to Niagara Falls to the Finger Lakes. We have this great system of New York State Parks, and we're very proud that the walkway is one of the new and popular kids in that club. We also transferred a year later the underpinnings, the piers of the walkway, all that 1888 iron and steel, to the New York State Bridge Authority. Now the Bridge Authority, depends on if you get Joe on a good day or a bad day, their arm might have been twisted because they don't get to charge tolls on this bridge. Obviously there's no cars on it, there's no vehicles, it's free. So, but on the other hand, that's what they do. They maintain bridges over the Hudson River, and they've got the 6 of them, from Bear Mountain to the Rip Van Winkle. So they are the right agency to take on this, 50, maybe 100-year task of ensuring that this bridge is solid and stands firmly on the Hudson River. We also then reach out to our all sorts of other partners, business partners. You just see the list of folks there. They contribute time and money and expertise to make sure that the walkway continues to grow in the way that we want it to grow to be successful. We raise money. I unabashedly ask people for money all the time. In fact, do you have any spare change here? No, we have millions of dollars of projects, and we look for partners to do projects together, and we look for our operating cash to come in. And we're so pleased to have HealthQuest as one of our corporate partners. What we do with HealthQuest is do a number of things to bring health and fitness in Dutchess County and in the area to the public. We did, Ellen worked hard with HealthQuest the first year to develop programs. We had thousands of people taking selfies of themselves on the walkway, logging their miles. Latest project was at Krieger School, 3rd grade or 4th grade? 3rd grade. The 3rd grade elementary school in Poughkeepsie. The kids went on the walkway, logged their miles. kept track of their nutrition, had a whole curriculum around health and fitness on the walkway. So we're really happy and hope to, that was a pilot that we will do in more classes around the county. There's Mary Kay. We were happy to get one of the awards that we'll be awarding on July 25th. At the Culinary. Marist College and IBM have been huge partners. If you go up in the walkway and you see those talkways or those panels of information, and do this next time you go up, particularly if you have your friends and your family from out of state. Take out your smartphone and you can read it, and you can get an audio description with more information about the history, about how the bridge was built, about the Hudson Valley, about the home of the environmental movement, Scenic Hudson started, all sorts of things that bring in things from all over the Hudson Valley right there. You can also get it in Mandarin Chinese and in Spanish. We will look at maybe German and French next. So it is a multilingual mobile education device that people can access from your home computer or from when you're up on the walkway with your smartphone. We couldn't have done that without IBM and Marist College. Marist College has been hugely supportive of us, and they've got the kids and the technology and the instructors, and they've been very helpful with that. So back to how you promote it, as Mary Kay and Mark were both saying, you have this great asset. How do you distinguish yourself from Napa Valley? How do you get people to come here when they're looking at Williamsburg? It's a big country. There's all kinds of places to go. How do we get people here? Well, one of the things that we've tried hard to do is to know and understand and accept that the walkway is basically a 2-hour experience. So we have 500,000 people coming. 52 countries we've logged that people have come from. Every state in the union, we know people are coming from all over. So what do they do before and after that 2-hour experience? Well, they should come to Copola's and eat, or they should drive up to Rhinebeck and shop, and they should do all the wonderful things we do. So we started a program called the Greater Walkway Experience to try and get people to look at the 360 degrees of what's going on around the walkway. So when they're standing there, they're looking around, they're seeing this big, beautiful valley, and there's all sorts of things to do. One of the interesting things we learned from working with our consultants, we were in focus groups in New York City, which was really fascinating to sit behind the glass room and they didn't see us, and they brought in different groups of people, different age groups, and asked them what do they know about the walkway. Not much. What do you know about the Hudson Valley? Depending on the age. What do you know about the Catskills? A lot. What about the Hudson River, depending on the age. Very fascinating. What do people think of us? All these things we take for granted. So that really helped us change the message in terms of being broad and being very visual. So we created a new logo that showed the expanse of the bridge, not just the walkway. And we identified four segments, and I'll just touch on this quickly, but they're the New York Metro liners. Those are bikers and hikers coming out of more metropolitan regions. History buffs. There's a lot of people. We had a history lecture 2 weeks ago on the walkway. 75 people showed up. 75 people signed up to come out on the walkway and hear about the history of the walkway. Next Sunday, I think, is an engineering talk. We have like 30 people signed up already. So there are different segments. The other one was the Hudson liners, and those are people, going up and down the Hudson on either side and maybe not stopping here, but we want them to. And then local pride, just back to what Mark said. I don't know about you, but if you wear your walkway hat, like I do, you probably don't, and you're in an airport somewhere, or whether you're in, St. Martin or in Chicago, someone will say, oh, is that bridge? And that creates a lot of pride for us. I know it's in Poughkeepsie, I know it's part of the valley. It's a great big asset that people know about, so we're proud of it. And our being proud of where we live, encourages our kids to stay here. There's Becca there, there's Frankie here. These are my kids who graduated from high school here. Their friends are here, they're working. I want them to stay here. I want them to feel proud of it. So we're working towards that. I already went over that. Big deal at the walkway. We have 42,000 Facebook fans, almost 5,000 followers now, I believe, on Twitter. Some Instagram. We're doing a lot with technology. Pretty soon we'll have boards that you'll be able to touch when you're at the walkway, and it will tell you about your different restaurants, hotels, all of the things in the area. So we're looking forward to that. The trails, I don't think I have to say much about that. The Dutchess County Rail Trail is beautiful. We could have never had the marathon without it. It was a bit of a challenge to get it all put together, but it is. It's 18.5 miles from the Hudson Valley Rail Trail out to Hopewell Junction. It's beautiful, it's gorgeous. If you haven't done it, you should. We've had some consultants come in and show us the kind of economic benefit that comes from trails all over the country is huge. Bicyclists spend more than, hikers overall. They stay, their bikes are $1,000, $2,000 machines, they want to stay in a nice place, they stop, they look around, so there's great information about that. Okay, I'm taking too long. Connecting with visitors, ambassadors, we have a huge volunteer program. You're welcome to tell your folks who have extra time or yourself. We have over 100 trained ambassadors and all sorts of programs that we do. And we do these big programs like the marathon, like the Guinness World Record, doing the Hokey Pokey, like inviting 4,000 people up to watch the fireworks so that, it just brings attention to the area, and that's good for all of us. Our ambassadors greet the public and also represent us very well. So the marathon was a big challenge. The marathon really was possible because of the Duchess Rail Trail. We had over 2,500 registrants from 6 countries and 31 states. Interestingly enough, if you look from Manhattan, Brooklyn, and Queens, over 11% of all the runners were from the New York City metro. So that's really a huge potential for us. We didn't market that extensively. We had Z100 there with Scary Jones, who's a character on the Elvis Duran in the morning show. Obviously not one I listened to, but everybody loved it. So having that sort of New York City attention at the marathon was really great. Here's one of our star runners. There's Mary Kay Herba, who ran the half. And our other star runner, of course, was Marcus Molinaro, who, in a show of support, kicked it up from the 5K to the half marathon. So thank you so much. So it was a great day, lots of good publicity and lots of, potential for the future. Couldn't have done it without Dutchess County government. I just want to point that out. We talk about the government, politicians, well, these partnerships make these things happen. It takes both the public and the private sector working together to pull off some of these big projects. And the fact that we're doing it in Dutchess, doing it in Hyde Park, doing it in Poughkeepsie, doing it in Ulster, doing it in this part of the Hudson Valley is going to serve us very well because we are in competition with the rest of the state in some ways. Highlights, we were able to get Martha Stewart up to our last event, Starry Night, will be in October. There's information on your table. You're all warmly invited and welcome to attend. It's a big fun event on the walkway. We do fireworks at night. We have senior days where we provide transportation for seniors who might not otherwise be able to come out to the walkway and have some coffee and some information. If you'd like to sponsor that, if you have a product that you think would be particularly good for seniors and if you want to present that day, if you're in the medical profession or the insurance or financial planning, just let us know. We're trying to make those things work. We participate in International Women's Day. We try and get these two characters, Mike Hyde and Mark Molinaro, to meet in the middle, as you were, from Ulster and Dutchess, and they do. They come out to the bridge a lot, and we continually sort of promote that focus that we are now bridging 2 parts of the Hudson Valley. We're bridging 2 counties. And having that relationship be strong is really helpful, Mark. It really is. It really is. It's great. So quick story, when Governor Cuomo was up on the walkway, Rob Dyson said, I'm getting him up on the walkway when he was here a few years ago, and his staff said, no, he's not coming, he's not coming, he's not coming. We don't have time. And Mark and Mike were they really schooled me. They're like, Mark's like, come here, stay here. We're going to, just stick with me. And just chatting away with the governor, and he was so comfortable up there on the walkway greeting everybody. So
He took him hostage.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going up there. So back to Mary Kay's point, in case there's any time for question or comments, tourism fuels economic growth. As a tourist asset, whether you're FDR here or your Cranberries or your Big Bear Zip Line, get your name out there, be a part of that, help welcome people. They're going to stay at the Roosevelt Inn, they're going to stay at, they're going to eat at Capola's and stay at the hotel, they're going to shop at the antique store, they're going to buy some jewelry from Lori. I mean, they're here, they're in our community, so the more we do to embrace them and welcome them, and I'm pleased that the walkway is a part of that. Thank you.
And just one quick thing to add, if you did not have the tourism industry in Dutchess County, for everybody that owns a home here, your tax bill would be about another $650 a year. So think about that as well when the tourists are coming into the area, that they really are saving some additional dollars. Any questions for either of us? Well, we're good.
Or we talk too long. Thank you very much.
I can tell you for a fact, I sent an email to Elizabeth about the marathon. The restaurant here, I believe the check-in was on Friday. We had about 45 people that came into the restaurant that were not local for the marathon. Approximately another 50 on Saturday, and on Sunday it was interesting to see about 30 people that came in for the marathon, which means that they stayed in town, they spent dollars here. A lot of times these events, the people come here for the day and then they leave, but these people actually stayed here and spent money. Now, I don't know if there's any statistics on how much they had spent over here.
Not specifically, we don't have those kind of dollars to do that economic study for every event, but we do know that there was over 110 room nights that were realized by this because people came from the distances. I mean, I alone talked to 4 couples from, and this is interesting, 4 couples from Dover, Delaware, and all the women were running. They were here with them to support. That just shows that there was an impact, and we're doing some calling right now to see if we can get some additional impact on that. But we know that events draw people, we know that events keep people here, and people travel for events. So these kind of things are good partnerships.
Eric, can you speak to the numbers on the Special Olympics, the number of athletes, the expected turnout, and the fact that it's in the winter?
Yeah, with Special Olympics, again, that'll be good for us because it is in February. They'll be staying in 5 of the local hotels. There'll be over 600 athletes coming from all across the state, New York City and Long Island, and they'll be staying here for 3 days, so we'll be feeding them, and they'll be here with some of their families and their teams and things. So these kind of things do have an impact, and being in February, that is even better because it helps fill those shoulder gaps.
And also, what Mary Kay did say that when tourists come into town, they will go back and tell them, geez, I got run over, I was riding my bike and somebody swiped me, or I went to this one restaurant and they weren't kind to me. I can tell you for a fact, and this is for Andy over there, when we have the car show in the town, we have the same guests that come to our restaurant every single year. I could count on it. And so when you take care of them this year, they will be back next year. So it's cumulative. You have to be careful on how you treat everyone, and it works. There's more money that comes in, and you keep adding to the bottom line. On that note, I'd like to say thank you to our 2 guest speakers. We have 2 bouquets of flowers donated by the Hyde Park florist.